Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. So right off the bat, I want to warn you, there will be spoilers in the second part of this video. Right here on screen is when I start talking about spoilers. This video will be broken down into two parts. The first part is me discussing this film, what I thought about it without giving away any spoilers at all. But after that, I'm gonna warn you once again that there will be spoilers coming up when the time comes. In the second part, I will be talking about in detail what I liked and what I didn't like about this film, down to the ending of it, the story, and every single thing that basically happened. So please pay attention to my words here. This is your final warning. The first part is non-spoiler. The second part is all spoilers. And now with those guidelines in place, I will be discussing this film with no spoilers. Don't worry, when the spoiler part comes up, I will warn you once again. So grab a snack, sit back and relax, and let's talk about this film. So when I went to the theaters today to see this movie, the first thing that popped into my head is, what are the horror movies that I've actually seen this year? And my brain kind of went blank because I couldn't really stick to anything that actually impressed me this year. I think Immaculate was a decent horror film, nothing to necessarily rave about, but it was good. And I really enjoyed the film In a Violent Nature because I loved the way it followed the killer and not the teenagers that were getting murdered by him. I thought it was a pretty interesting twist, and the kills were top tier, actually insane. And then I have The First Omen, and that's where my list ends. But none of these films necessarily blew my socks off, absolutely blew my mind. I was waiting for that one film this year. And not to mention the last two horror films that I saw that came out this year were Tarot and Imaginary, which I wish that movie was Imaginary because what the fuck? I feel like I just needed my modern horror palette to be cleansed. I needed something to really put me back in the mode of horror. And say what you will, maybe this movie caught me at the perfect time. I absolutely loved this film, but there are some caveats. I'm not saying this is a perfect film. If you follow me on Letterboxd, you see that I have gave it a 4 out of 5 because I do not think it is perfect, but I do adore this movie. So let's get into the positives of this film. The number one thing that sticks out to me in this movie is the foreboding sense of anxiety that this film builds throughout its shots. This movie loves to not center the character, open up the lens, make it wide, and basically center the shot on a single door frame in the background. So a character will be just looking through something on their desk, but she will not be centered with the screen. That freaking door frame in the background is centered, and you're just waiting for something to walk through it. They use it quite a lot throughout this film, and it gets me every single time, and I absolutely adored that aspect. Now, I would start talking about the score of this movie. Unfortunately, I don't even know if there was one because my AMC has very thin walls. And during the very quiet moments of this film and even the loud moments of this film, all I could hear on the left side of me in the theater next to me was fucking Minions 4. But when Gru wasn't shaking his ass to some intense club music next to me, I could hear the score of this film. And from what I heard, it is absolutely terrifying. And the reason it is so terrifying is that there is a almost lack of score. There are a lot of quiet scenes, whether it's two people conversing, whether it's someone sitting down in an empty room. You can hear everything. You can hear every single footstep. You can hear every little creak. And adding that with the wide angle lens and the door frames in the back, that's what builds anxiety throughout this whole entire film. If I were to compare this film to anything that I've seen before, so you kind of know what feelings I was getting while watching it, is the movie Zodiac, which is one of my all-time favorite films of all time. Basically, give me any FBI agent who's hunting down a serial killer and I'm gonna eat that shit up. I love that stuff. A lot of the performances are very raw, very emotional, very smart. The dialogue is great. And I will be talking about this one specific part in the spoiler area, so if you're interested and you've seen the movie, I will be talking about this a little bit more later, but I'm just going to touch on it a little bit here. Nicolas Cage in this film is absolutely fantastic, truly one of his best performances. The first 5 minutes of this film really set the tone for everything else. It is truly disturbing. And I wouldn't say the story is necessarily groundbreaking, and almost to a point it is a little bit predictable, but original or not, it is very entertaining and it is expertly told. Now, I would say go into this film not knowing anything, and that's exactly how the movie wants you to do it. There's nothing more telling of this than the trailers that were leading up to the release of this film that literally told you nothing. Personally, I didn't watch any of these, so I didn't go into this film with any hype at all, besides I've heard some chirps that this movie was really good. But I went in there level-headed. I had no expectations besides it's gonna be better than average. The promotion of this film, I would say, after looking it up afterwards, is definitely its strongest point. The only trailer I ever saw leading up to it was that first one that released of the father calling the police office and saying, "That's not my daughter, this isn't my daughter."
911, what's your emergency?
It's my daughter.
And then after that, I was in. I absolutely love when horror films do this. One of my biggest gripes, and not just horror, but film in general, is trailers these days. It is absolutely insane that you can watch a 4-minute trailer that literally shows you the beginning, the ending, and the middle of a 2-hour film. And for that reason, I literally do not watch trailers at all anymore. But I think the fact that the option was there to watch the trailers before this film came out and it told you nothing and it scared people who are watching it is expertly done. It needs to be done way more. I would say the only problem behind that is that some people start to notice these things and it hypes them up a lot and then they get disappointed. But I absolutely adore this type of marketing. No matter how much hype it builds, there's a reason it works. It is so effective. It is so scary. Segueing off that, we will be discussing if I found this movie scary. And to that point, I would say that I did not find this movie necessarily scary, but I found it very disturbing and depressing. This movie almost builds a pressure over you as you're watching it. You can feel it in your chest, and it never lets up. There is no comedic relief. In the spoiler area of this video, I will be discussing a few points that did scare me, and afterwards, I was feeling a little bit uneasy, but I wouldn't say this movie is necessarily super scary. And the conversations I'm seeing online are people who were kind of misled into thinking this horror movie is the scariest of all time. And I don't really know why these outlets are saying these type of things, because I get it, horror is subjective, but I feel like it is definitely misleading people. But don't take that at face value. This could be one of the scariest movies of all time to you. Everything is subjective, but to me personally, I did not find it super scary. And because I didn't go in with the intention of it being scary, that is not a gripe for me, that is not a negative, and it does not affect my overall score on the film. What does affect my score on the film comes towards the tail end of this movie. I feel like it is feeding the audience a little bit too much information. I kind of feel like it assumes that the audience is dumb and doesn't understand things. Or the director, Oz Perkins, wants you to know the story so bad that he literally straps you down in a chair and feeds you its food through a spoon. And you're begging him to stop. I'm full, I got it, you don't have to tell me anymore, but it just keeps going. It really explains the story to you like you were stupid. And I don't know, maybe you like that, maybe you don't like open-endedness, maybe you want the story to be spoon-fed to you, I have no idea, but to me, I did not really enjoy that part of the film. Right when my brain was starting to connect all the pieces, it was like, here's everything you need to understand the film. And I was like, But after you're spoon-fed this information, it doesn't really leave any dessert. There are some open-ended things that are not told to you, which is great. I love converse online. I love conversations about the story and what people think. And there was some of that left over while you got spoon-fed. So overall, I think this movie was a great time. I was so engaged, and I think you will be as well. But I would say don't go into this movie with massive expectations, and I feel like you will enjoy it a lot more. I know a lot of people had super big heads. They went in there, they could not wait to see this movie. It was the most hyped thing of all time. Head so big they could barely fit in the door, and then it deflated. But the positive thing is the people that were super overhyped who went into the film ended up saying it was still good, but it wasn't to their expectations. But me personally, I really enjoyed this film. I loved almost every aspect of it. But personally, I'm going to give this movie 2 thumbs up, 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and I feel like it is a very safe suggestion for horror fans, veteran or not, to go check this film out. I'm pretty sure you will enjoy this. Now, to validate my claims as to why I didn't enjoy this film and why I did, I will be going into super detail mode. So this is your final warning. This is when the spoilers start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello to the spoiler side, aka the superior side. I'm just kidding, the non-spoiler side, you guys are pretty cool too, but we're just a little bit cooler over here. So you guys are actually getting an inside scoop because my review of the non-spoiler side was yesterday. I slept, woke up, and now I'm recording this, so I had a little bit more time to think about the film. And I'm gonna be straight up, and honest with you, I feel like the film has almost grown on me. So before, when I was saying that it wasn't necessarily scary, I don't know anymore. I feel like the movie was like low-key kind of cursed, you know? Like Incantation, films like that, where basically they're saying anyone who watches the film is gonna get cursed. That's how I felt afterwards. And because this is spoiler talk time, I can say whatever the fuck I want. Let's get into it. So let the yappening begin. Where to even start with this film? Let's talk about the opening like 5 minutes and how creepy that shit was. I wasn't expecting them to show us Nicolas Cage so early on. They didn't really show him, but they gave you just enough to be like, that is creepy as hell. That's Nicolas Cage. Also, sorry, I don't have grandkids. This is a joke. Don't look too much into this. I don't have grandchildren. But man, when the little girl is just like walking to her backyard, and in the background you see him standing there, which I didn't even realize for the first like 3 seconds of that shot. And then when she's kind of looking away and then you hear him say, yoo-hoo, or whatever he says in his creepy voice. Dude, chills. I literally got like just talking about it, full body chills. And then he says that, I wish I had footage to show you guys because the movie isn't out yet. It's still in theaters, so I can't really show you anything. I'll have to describe it. When he says, what did he say? I brought my Longlegs today or something. And then he's like, and what if I just... And then he kneels down and you see his face for like a split second and then boom, the title screen comes in. Dude, that was crazy. I loved that. And right after that part, when it gets to current day, when you're following the main FBI agent, she does amazing in this film. I'm not sure if she has like social anxiety or maybe there's some sort of underlying darkness to her performance and that's why she's so sheltered as a person. I don't want to look that far into it. I'm just assuming she was socially awkward, which is completely fine. I thought it was so interesting how she got out of the car when they were searching for a serial killer in the area, and she immediately pointed out that one house. Dude, I feel so bad for that one cop who was like, no, we're not gonna call it in. Let me just go knock. You sit here and relax. And then he got his fucking brains blown in. That's why my Letterboxd review says, bro should have called it in. He should have. And then when she storms the house, I could tell immediately that this movie was gonna be shot perfectly, exactly how I would want a movie like this to be shot. It is beautiful. The way she's kind of clearing the rooms, the way the wide angle lens is following her, it's beautiful. I don't know if you can tell, but I love wide angle shots. I don't care what it is. If it's a wide angle, I'm sucking it. And I was a little bit confused as to how she knew it was the house. And then later you kind of find out that there's a little bit of like a paranormal twist to this film, I would say. She's like basically psychic and it's really cool. And also, I wasn't expecting such a big emphasis on religion towards the end of this film and in the middle. I thought maybe it was just gonna be like a little thing, like the mom would say, like, did you pray today? Did you pray today? Do you guys remember that meme? And I thought it would just be something small, simple like that. But wow, does this movie really take the religion to actually the main story and the main driving point for this serial killer in this film? And that's where I want to talk about Nicolas Cage. What the fuck? This dude is a star. Obviously, he's always been a star, but I feel like this movie really put into perspective just how great this dude is. I also love during the interviews of this film, the interviewers were like, did this movie take a toll on you? Did you do some method acting? He was like, nah, not really. Like, dude can just snap in and out of it. He's like, yeah, I can separate from that shit. He is so talented, truly so talented. I also love the main character in this film doesn't take shit. If there's something going on, she's running in there with a gun, blasting away. Like in the beginning of the film, Longlegs, I'm pretty sure it was him, or maybe it was, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Longlegs in her house at some point, and she looked outside and saw him in the forest. She went out there guns a-blazing. I just love that. Obviously, she's like an FBI agent. That's her job, to arrest people. But I just love that aspect. Like she was just ready for she was ready to throw down. And that's where I have like this little nitpick. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there are times where she sees someone directly out of a window and in the 5-second walk it takes to get to the door, the person is like miles and miles away. Where did they go? Particularly at the end of the film when the mom like blew the head open of that one detective lady in the car and she saw it happen. She left the house and the mom like teleported. She was gone. I was like, damn, how fast did she run? Like, so that's another thing. The mom, I feel like it was pretty predictable that she was gonna be a part of this somehow. The moment you hear her tone kind of gives away like, I'm low-key a villain. I'm gonna fuck shit up at some point. And then especially when she goes and meets her mom to get information about Longlegs, you can tell something's not right with this lady. And there's obviously something bad that's going to happen relating to her causing it. And this is where one of the scariest parts of the film come in my opinion, is when she's looking through her old room and she's looking through the pictures. And one picture comes up of I'm getting chills. It scared the fuck out of me, dude. When she's looking through them and that one picture of like Longlegs came up, the one that she took like this with a Polaroid, shake it like a Polaroid picture, and that boom, like the loud noise. I know it was like technically like kind of a cheap jump scare, but it wasn't. It literally scared me afterwards as well when I'm thinking about it now. The sound design on that part, wow, just insane. That 1 5-second jump scare is like scarier than most horror movies that are coming out. And yeah, like I feel like I could guess maybe the mom had something to do with it, and I thought I was predicting the story, but once they start bringing the dolls into it and like the metal thing inside their brains is where I was like, okay, this is getting crazy. And I honestly liked it. I really did, because it added another layer of mystery. Just when you're figuring out the film, it just adds a layer on top of it. I actually heard some people saying this part was a cop-out and it was just to like make the movie more interesting. I don't see it like that. Maybe I'm not a huge movie critic. I'm not inherently super critical of things unless it's abhorrently bad. So maybe I didn't pick up on that, but that's not the way I saw it. I keep saying Saul. It's the New Jersey accent. I saw it. And to my understanding is that Longlegs is a worker for the devil, obviously. I saw some people saying that he was the devil himself. I'm not sure about that, but from what I understood, he basically took parts of the Antichrist and put it inside the metal balls of the doll's brains, gave them to the family, and then the doll was kind of like whispering horrible demonic things to them, basically changing their brain chemistry into killing their whole entire family. This is obviously told by the part with the guy who's like inspecting the doll, cutting it open, where he says he thinks he heard the metal brain saying something. I just thought that was honestly a really cool addition. It is very paranormal, religious, way out of the realm of reality. Depends on how you look at it. Could this happen in real life? I don't think so at all. That's like some Salem witch trial shit. I don't really think that would happen. Oh, my battery's gonna die. Hold up. All right, the day has been saved. The battery has been changed. I always have 2 batteries charging back here at all times, just in case for this moment. I don't even know, where was I? What was I talking about? Whatever it was, let's forget it. I want to talk about like the ending of this film. There is literally a part where the main character has a flashback scene. And she is like her little girl form. We find out that she was the one in the beginning of the film. And I was thinking like, why hasn't she told anybody about Longlegs yet? If she's seen him, there's pictures, why does she not recall these moments? And literally like you're being told a story as a child. The movie is treating you like a child, and it tells you everything word for word, bar for bar, why this happens. And just when I think like they're gonna start getting cryptic with it and like not telling you everything, nope. Dude, she literally breaks down like every aspect of this film in like a 15 minute span, just telling you the story as a children's book. And I was offended. Obviously, I wasn't that offended. I was like, okay, why are you doing this? Like literally no joke. Mama met a man named Longlegs. Longlegs made every single person forget. And then it's literally showing you scenes like him tying her up, freaking out. And he's like, if you don't help me, I'm gonna kill your daughter. So the only reason that she can stay alive is if you help me kill other people. It is just honestly ridiculous. They should have just cut that part out. I feel like if you cut that part out and you went right to the mom shooting that lady in the head with the shotgun, we would have probably got the message. Also, I was a little bit curious as to how fast the doll actually takes over people's minds, because the mom got to the other FBI agent's house and the whole entire family instantly was acting crazy and killed each other. But in the flashbacks, it looks like the doll kind of sits around the house a little bit before the action actually takes place. So is it instantaneously? Can she control that aspect of it? Yeah, I didn't really understand that. But one of my favorite aspects of the film is that they don't tell us who Longlegs is. They don't give us a background story. They don't give us anything about him. The parts that I could pick apart is that he likes to sing rock and roll. So I was thinking that possibly it was relating to the hysteria of demons coming through rock and roll music of the time period that he grew up in. Because he is always singing some crazy shit. He does some insane stuff. And I don't know, that's just my interpretation of it. Maybe we'll get a prequel. I'm kind of hoping they don't do that, but I'm kind of hoping they do because I do want to know about his past. But I think what makes him scarier is that we don't know too much about his past. If they release a prequel or a sequel, I'm gonna go watch it because I really did like this film. So that's all I have off the top of my head right now. If you saw the film, did you enjoy it? Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like the video format. I've been getting a lot of people commenting, keep doing the video format. It's kind of difficult for me to do that because I don't like doing it. I'd rather not show my face, but I also kind of enjoy doing it sometimes. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed the yappening. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for 100K, by the way. Thank you so much for 100K, by the way. I know I thank you guys all the time for it, but I can't believe that's on my wall. Isn't that actually insane? We're kind of getting close to 200K. What the flip? But yeah, anyway, thank you so much. If you enjoyed Longlegs, let me know. If you didn't, let me know as well. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Mommy, Daddy. If you don't know that scene, then you didn't see the... It's when he's in the car and he's... Okay.